What's good? It's your boy Nobi, Inf Gang of Noble Cinema. Today I'm joined with a Richmond, California native, MNE artist, a Billboard charting lyricist, someone I came up with since a young bull, Inf Gang representative, the financer of filth, Mr. Filthnificent, G-Mo Skee. How are you?
Yes, sir. I'm good, bro. Nobi, my mans.
We out here, man. I'm very appreciative of you letting me do this interview.
Hey, I'm appreciative to get interviewed, man. This is something I feel like is needed in the Bay Area, man. Like, for real, we need this, man.
That part. And if people don't know, me and this fool know each other, so.
Oh, yeah, that's my brother, man.
We came up, man.
Come on now.
Came straight out the mud with it. So, yeah, man, we can just jump right into this shit. For those that don't know you, where are you from?
I'm from Richmond, California, not Richmond, Virginia. Hoodie on my head, moving swift as a ninja. You already know. That
part. And what was your early home life like growing up in Richmond?
Turbulent, man. Turbulent. I say the beginning of my life, like the very beginning, man. I was living with my grandpa and them, and it was bad, but I didn't know it was. You know what I mean? I was too little. And then I ended up moving to Hilltop when I got a little bigger. And man, I thought everything was good, but it wasn't. I had to get a certain age to realize how fucked up shit was. But eventually, I think around like 11 years old is when I realized shit was fucked up. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, can you go into a little, because I know, but can you let the people know just like the refrigerator story, maybe?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I started living with my grandpa around the time I turned like 10 and like 11 or something like this. And my grandpa, like his house was like a crack house, you know what I mean? But more of a crank house because motherfuckers wasn't smoking crack. Like crack been out of style for a minute.
Let's make the differentiation.
I don't know. I've never smoked either one, so I can't. But I feel like cranksters, they're able to function a little more than, like, a crackhead just wants crack. A prankster, might want like Danishes and shit too, But
a crank yanker.
Yeah,
that's
crank
what we call them over here.
Nah, my grandpa's house, there was a lot of drug addicts in there, man. I remember one day I counted like 29 people in that fucking house, man. Like, it just motherfuckers in and out at all times.
How big was this house?
3-bedroom house.
Damn, well, you had a little room.
Yeah, I didn't have a room. It was like it was my mom and 3 of her kids, me, my brother, and my sister, and then it was my auntie and 3 of her kids.
Damn.
And then the rest was just random dope fiends, like my uncles. A lot of my uncles were there, and then a lot of their friends, and they were all on drugs. They would go down to the garage. We used to call it the hole. My grandpa used to, that motherfucker down there in the hole right now, And they would just smoke crank, bro, and you could smell it. Like, damn. I could still smell it. Like, it's got this nasty-ass sweet smell to it.
I think heroin has the same smell, too. Not that I've smoked heroin, but I've been around.
Like, this house was so filthy. Like, we used to shower with our shoes on, like, type of shit. My grandpa would put a fucking chain on the refrigerator, a chain and lock on the refrigerator. Nigga, if you needed something out that fridge, you had to go get the key. Like, just shit like that.
How was that as a young person, though, like growing up in that type of lifestyle? Did you realize that things were messed up, or you just didn't even peep it?
It took me a minute to know, like I was saying, like my early life, like when I lived in Hilltop, I didn't realize like my mom was on Section 8 and she was in a drug program and all of this shit. And I was like a mama's boy. I used to sleep with my mom all the time.
Shout out, moms.
And her pipe would be on the dresser, but I didn't know what the fuck it was ever until eventually I moved to my grandpa's house. And I actually remember the day that my cousin Billy told me what was really going on around me. You know what I mean?
And what did he say?
He was just like, man, bro, like the motherfuckers be up in there smoking crank. Your mom too. Like, he just flat out
How old was he? Was he older than you?
Yeah, he was an adult.
And he just broke the news to you. How old were you?
I was like 11.
Fuck.
Like, maybe 11. You know what I mean?
Oh my God.
And he told me that shit. And I just like, for a minute, I hated my mom because I was like, what? But it's kind of funny because it should have been obvious, like what was going on. But
you were 11. No, it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
No, and parents are good at hiding shit like that. Like my dad was also like, he, rest in peace, my pops, but he delved a little bit into the drug scene, and you, as a kid, you never would notice it, but you get older and you realize, especially as parents, you're like, okay, first of all, like, what effect did that have on you as a kid though? When he comes up to you and tells you this, was that like earth shattering, or you just?
It kind of was to find out that my mom was on drugs. Which is, bro, before I ever moved to my grandpa's house, when I lived in Hilltop, we got taken to a foster home. Like me and my brothers and sisters, we got separated and put in foster homes. And I still was so naive. I had no idea. I didn't really know why.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? But when my cousin broke it to me, it's just like everything made sense. Like,
okay, let's go. Before you go in that, the foster home. So what happens? You get picked up. Some person comes and grabs you. What happens?
Oh my God. I remember that shit like it was yesterday, bro. We was all in the living room watching TV. Like I might have been cuddled with my mom on the couch.
Day or night?
Day.
Okay. Early morning?
Like maybe afternoon, maybe 1, like something like this. And we on the couch watching TV, and my mom gets this phone call, and she answered it with her fucking proper, like, you know how your mom get when she answered the phone for a school official or anything, she starts sounding like all proper and shit. She's like, hello? Hey, how are you doing? Whoopie whoop. And like, I wasn't paying no attention, but she's like, what? Wait, what? Fuck you, motherfucker!
Damn.
And she threw the phone.
Damn.
And it's just like, I'm like, what the fuck?
You were in there with her and just turn around like, what's going on?
Bro, I was right there, bro. Like, she throw the fucking house phone, it shattered on the wall. And then this fucking white van pull up right out front, and some motherfuckers hopped out. And
this is right at that same time?
Yes, bro.
Whoa.
Like, them niggas they must have been pulling up when they called her, bro. Like, it wasn't no 30-minute, no hour. Like, right when she threw that motherfucking phone, I remember a white van pulling the fuck up, and they took us, bro.
That's a straight movie scene.
Straight up. And they separate us. They kept me with my oldest brother, Roy, and then my other brother and sister, they went on their way. And that shit was crazy. I remember trying to escape and go home after school, bro. And my foster mom fucking caught me and took me, bro.
Wow.
Like, it was fucking wild.
So how was your foster mom? Where did they take you?
Now that I'm older, I kind of know where I was at.
Mm-hmm.
I was somewhere in Pablo.
Okay. So you weren't too far away from home, at least.
Not too far away. But Pablo is kind of far from Hilltop. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, for sure, as a kid, too.
Like, in the Pablo Hills. Like,
and as a kid, you don't know where you're at either, though, probably.
No way.
Yeah.
I had no fucking idea.
There ain't no way you're going to walk home or take the bus.
No. But there was some funny moments in this foster home, though.
Let me hear it.
Like, I remember one day when my foster mom picked me up from school, she went to, like, Church's Chicken or Popeyes or some shit like this, right? So I'm in Church's Chicken with her, and she ordered, like, a box of food. Didn't give me shit, right?
Wow.
I was supposed to go home and eat pizza with all the other foster kids.
Can we get a description real quick on the foster mom?
She was an old lady with mad wigs, an old black lady. She had mad wigs.
She just had a collection, or what? She just always popping out with something new?
I peeped in her room before. She just had like mannequin heads with hella wigs, bro. She was like Big Mama. You
were living a nightmare.
Bro, it was fucking crazy, bro. We were sleeping in a basement. Nigga, I was crying.
You were like, locked in there probably, too. Speaking of locks, your ass was in there.
Ask my brother Roy. Ask Squally. Squally was there with me, bro. Like, oh, my mama. But anyways, back to the story.
Okay,
nigga.
My bad.
She got this box of food, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she comes back to the table or whatever, and we getting ready to leave, but she opens it up to make sure she got all her shit.
Right.
She didn't have all her shit. So she goes back to the counter and tells them something. I wasn't listening, but I think they refused to take the food back for some fucking reason. Like the box has been open or some shit like this.
Right.
She comes back to the table and she super glued the fucking box closed, bro.
Damn. She used the wig glue?
I don't know. I guess so, bro.
You know she got to keep that on her.
But that's wild, though. Like, nigga, she glued the box back and took that shit. All right, it's closed. Motherfuckers, what's up? And they exchanged her for, all right, let me get this old lady out of here. But that was one of them fond fucking memories, man. Like,
so with the foster home situation, was that the only one you went to? And
yes.
how long was that process that you were in there?
I think it wasn't that long, bro.
Okay.
I might have been in there for like a month or something.
Okay.
Like,
and you were with your sister?
No, I was with Roy. I was with my oldest brother.
Okay.
And that was crazy. Like, I bet you my brother gonna have some crazy memories watching this. Like, damn, that really did happen, bro.
Do you still feel effects of being ripped out of your home to this day? Do you feel like that has some type of like PTSD like effect on you at all?
No.
Okay. That's good.
Like, you know, I went through a lot of shit as a kid, bro. Just like living on Kalinga, bro, at that crack house and all the shit I seen. Fucking dope fiends coming home, nigga busted up because he's a nigga owed a D-boy. You know what I mean? Shit like that. I remember a motherfucker kicked our door in chasing my cousin. You know what I mean? With a gun and everything. That's another wild story. You know what I mean?
So what happened with that?
Nigga, so one night, I'm sitting in the living room on the fold-out couch, the futon, playing Nintendo 64, and some dude knocked on the door. He had a cast on. You know what I mean? He had a cast on and a white t-shirt.
Uh-huh.
He knocks on the door. Now, my cousin Shamika, shout out Shamika, she opens the door, and the guy was asking for one of my cousins. I'd rather not name him.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, is Whoop-de-Whoop here?
Mm-hmm.
And my cousin Shamika is excited to say, oh yeah, that's my cousin. She one of them motherfuckers like, that's my cousin. Excited. Oh yeah, you looking for my cousin? Yeah, he here.
Quick to drop a name.
Yeah, like you looking, yeah, he here. So she's like, you know, comes back in the house and she's looking for my cousin and she finds him. She's like, oh yeah, there's somebody here to see you at the front door. My cousin, bro, he look outside, he see the motherfucker, and he's like, you told him I was here?
Oh.
She's like, yeah. He's like, fuck. He goes to the door. This nigga is talking through the crack in the door to dude. You know what I'm saying? He's talking through the crack.
Somebody or something.
And I'm not even like, I couldn't really hear what they were saying.
Right.
But dude outside invited him to come outside. And I just seen my cousin like, nah, bruh.
He knew what time it was.
He slammed the door hella quick. Boom, locked that shit, put the latch on it, nigga, and start running through the house to the back door, went through the slide door and hit the gate or whatever.
And you're still on the N64?
Yeah, I'm like, well, I wasn't playing. I was watching, bro, because dude start kicking the door. Dude,
Right.
Dude, nigga had a cast on too. Boom, boom, and a gun in his hand. Boom, boom, nigga kicked the door open and he come in our house. Where he at? Where the fuck he go? You know what I'm saying? And I remember, this is one thing I remember, like, my youngest sister, she's older than me, but she's my youngest sister. Mm-hmm. She's like special needs, you feel me? And I remember him running up to her with the gun.
Damn.
Where he at? Where he at? She's like, I don't know. Oh, you don't know where he at? You know what I mean? And he's just going through the rooms. My grandpa is not on drugs. My grandpa fought in the Vietnam War. He had the Purple Heart and everything. He was just a good dude. You could always come to his house. You know what I mean?
Right.
But he wasn't on drugs at all. Rest in peace to my grandpa. But he went in my grandpa's room. I imagine my grandpa was in his chair just looking at this nigga like, what the fuck? And then dude come back to the living room and he's like, like he was mad as fuck. Man, this nigga stole my nephew's truck. I'm gonna kill this nigga. And he left.
Bro, what if he would have snatched your N64 and ran off? I'm taking some.
I would have been disgusted, bro. Like, bro, come on, bro. But nah, dude, I mean, for a lack of a better term, dude was kind of cool because
he could have smoked everybody.
The next day he came back.
What?
He came back the next day, knocked on the door, and apologized. You know what I mean?
How old was he? He was an older cat?
Nah, he was like a young nigga. Like, he couldn't be, like, he was like in his 20s maybe. You know what I'm saying?
That man said he came back.
He came back and apologized. Like,
My bad,
I'm
y'all.
sorry, bro. I'm sorry for running through y'all shit, man. Y'all got kids here. I'm just letting y'all know, bro. That dude stole my nephew's truck. It had a bunch of dope, a bunch of guns in it and shit, bro. If y'all gonna have him here, keep these kids out the motherfucking house.
Right.
You feel me? But I apologize for kicking y'all dough down and shit. And that was that. You know what I mean?
That's insane.
Yeah, that shit was wild.
Yeah, so you know, that definitely puts us into that next part of your life as far as like what influence. I will say, like, well, let's do this first. So, like, what influence? We'll go sort of into the music side of things. You know what I mean? What influence did the Bay Area have on you growing up? Were you influenced a lot by Bay Area culture?
Yeah, very much so. Very, like, the way I talk, the way I carry myself. I feel like Bay Area people are well grounded, man. Like, I done traveled a lot of places and shit, and there's no place like home. Like, motherfuckers in the Bay Area just have a certain way of thinking and just. It's all about being cool as a Bay Area cat, you know what I mean? But also, in Richmond, like how I grew up, everybody was confrontational. You know what I'm saying? So I'm very confrontational too. And you know, that could be a good thing. It could be a bad thing. You know what I mean? Like if I have a problem with you, I'm going to address it. I'm very reactive. and just very like hyphy, man.
But I think also too, like, just to say this about Richmond is like it puts you to a certain standard of like how you got to operate, because like we are, like you're saying, like we're very intense type of people, like and it be like that. So I definitely feel you on that. But as far as like Bay Area music wise, like what were you influenced by? Were you slapping Messy Marv? Were you like, what was your shit back then?
Well, Mac Dre, you know what I'm saying? I remember listening to Mac Dre with my cousin Sean, rest in peace, my little cousin Sean, and my cousin Raymond. You know, we used to bump Mac Dre all the time and shit like that. But to be honest with you, I've always been the weird motherfucker in Richmond. Like I was heavily into Eminem and D12 and just kind of like that more animated. You know what I mean? Yeah. Animated, imaginative, cartoony, like crazy shit. I was into that. And I got a lot of shit for that because when everybody was hyphy and the hyphy movement was just going and all that shit, like I was listening to different shit. Like my favorite shit was like M. You know what I mean? Like I was a big Eminem fan and that was weird.
Do you remember where that influence came from as far as like what the first time you heard like an Eminem record? Like okay.
Yes. That was actually in Hilltop when I was a little kid. Before I ever moved to my grandpa's house, I remember I was getting dressed for school and my brother Roy, I was in the shower and my brother Roy brought a radio in there. He was like, yo, Jerron, listen to this. And he put the Slim Shady LP on and just pressed play. And I was listening to that shit and I continued getting dressed. And I was like, damn, like, because it was something I had never heard before.
This shit slap.
But I related to it because I had a bad mouth as a little kid. Like I was cussing like a motherfucker. Like I was just this little bad mouth motherfucker. You know what I mean? So I liked it. And then I think maybe like the pitch of his voice. Yeah, you know what I mean? He kind of had that high pitched voice. Like I feel like it was for kids. Like it was like, you know what I'm saying? Like straight up.
Well, I'm trying to think because like to think about Eminem now is like a whole different ball game. But like I wish I could take myself back to like the first time I heard Eminem because well, you saying that too about the high pitched voice that's hella interesting because he did have like a different cadence than a lot of people too. Probably because he was like one of the rare white people that were rapping back then. Like now you got everybody, you know, you got whoever the fuck, but so that was the first time, and then you just kind of like immersed yourself into that.
Yeah, like I just loved that shit. I loved how he was writing about things. He wasn't the first rapper I fucked with. Like me and my brothers and my cousin, we were into No Limit. Like we loved No Limit. You know what I mean? I remember loving the Big Pun songs on the radio. I don't want to be a player no more. Like there was a lot of shit I liked, bro, for sure. But like when I heard Eminem, like I just fell in love with that music. Like As the World Turns, that song, how it was just like so fucking funny. And like I had heard nothing like it, but that's what I liked. You know what I mean? Like I fucked with that shit. I fucked with the way he was saying over the top shit. And grammatically, like it all made sense. I was obsessed with that shit. It was the illest shit ever.
So before Eminem, were you ever into like the darker shit? Like were you like a Brother Lynch Hung fan or?
No, I hadn't heard it. I hadn't heard of him at the time when I was like a little kid. Like I said, it was like No Limit and Big Pun, Pac and shit like this. You know what I mean? Because as a kid, you listening to what your brothers and them is listening to.
For sure.
So they was listening to No Limit. And we used to pretend to be different members of No Limit. I was Silk the Shocker.
Why they give you the weakest one, bro?
I know, because he was the little brother.
Shout out Silk the Shocker.
Shout out to Silk the Shocker. He was the little brher, so I wanted to be that. It was kind of like when we play video games, I would always be Luigi. You know what I mean? Because I'm the little brother. I'm the player too. So, you know what I mean? Like, it was like that, bro.
Yeah, so that's definitely like kind of a foreshadowing of the future, I would say a little bit.
Yeah.
Do you remember what influenced you to start making music?
I do.
Okay. Can you bring us back to like the first time that you actually like made a song?
Yo, I was at my auntie's house and my brother Roy and my cousin Anwar, they were making songs. They were writing songs. They had this shit called Royalty Records.
Okay.
Right?
This is a record label they made?
Yeah, like they like I think the
Royalty?
homie Marcus.
I just got that.
Royalty Records. They probably forgot about that shit, but I did it. But the homie Marcus drew the emblem. It was like somebody with a head, afro or some shit, and he's like looking down and he's writing raps. And they were just like serious about it. And I would be in there playing video games and they'd be up in there writing and rapping and reciting. And I would be like, I want to spit something. What's good?
And you were how old again?
I don't remember. Like 7 or some shit like this.
Oh, wow. That
6 or 7. Like I was little, man. And they was like, man, what you got to say? Like you ain't got, like, come on, bro.
What life have you lived? Nah.
I wrote a little something, bro. But I didn't get to record it, but I wrote it. And then I remember.
Do you remember what their studio was like in their house? Like, where they have a radio shack?
No, they just had a computer. I don't even know. I don't remember the mic they had. Like, I don't even remember.
And for the people that don't understand, having a computer back then was different too.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody had computers back then either. So
that's very true.
That is crazy. But I'm very curious to see what that was like.
Well, now the first time I ever recorded vocals ever was with my homies Nelson and William in Hilltop.
Okay.
Like I was a little motherfucker, and they were in there. They were in there actually recording on the little computer mic with the antenna, the skinny ass mic with the little.
It's the one I started out on too,
bro. Yep. They had that joint, and they was up in there recording. I was like, man, let me get on the song, and they were like, man, you ain't got nothing to say, Lil Jerron. And I made them a fucking hook. It's Will and Nell driving along, smoking on bongs. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? And it was like, hold on, this shit gotta go. Yeah, bro. So I know Nelson and William. I know y'all remember that. If y'all still got that song, man, come on, email me that, man.
Yeah. Well, so like, I mean, you're the type of person that really loves rap and you love being a lyricist.
Yeah.
So it's like, it is crazy to think back like to that point. So right when you did that kind of just like sparked the flame and you were just like, I need to do this shit forever. Was that moment?
Yeah. Yes. I was steadily writing raps and,
what kind of got you into that darker side of things, like the more filthy shit? I will go into filth in a little bit, but like, what made you want to be that like disgusting, like, you know what I mean, like gross rapper?
Well,
profanity, not even gross, but you know what I'm saying, like provocative.
Yeah.
Was this still that way back then?
Yeah, dude. Like so, like I used to write about hitting people with shit, like using objects on shit. Like I'll hit you with this, or I'll do this, I'll do that, and it was like. I've explained it a couple times, like, it's kind of like cartoons at the time.
Right,
As a little kid, I'm watching cartoons, and my favorite cartoons were the ones of them beating the shit out of each other. Like Tom and Jerry.
Yep.
Like, that's all they did was beat the fuck out of each other. Nigga, he put your tail in a waffle iron.
What was the Simpsons characters?
I hate the Simpsons. Mouse. Oh, Itchy and Scratchy.
Itchy and Scratchy used to be tear each other's skin off.
Bro, think about the Looney Tunes. That's all they used to do. Hit a nigga with a mallet.
Their eyeballs pop out.
Your eyeballs popping out. I send a nigga to the moon on a rocket. That shit gonna blow up. Like, I like that shit. That was like, so like when I start writing, all I could think about was like hurting somebody or saying something, but it had to be creative because that's what they would do. Put your fucking balls in a waffle iron, nigga. Like, that's funny to me.
Well, it's very visually like crazy. And I definitely feel you on that too, because it was like back then writing lyrics, especially like lyricism was like how I could hurt the other MC too. You know what I'm saying? So that is funny though. It's like the Looney Tunes aspect, like cartoon type shit. But then,
and then you mix that with Eminem and you mix that with South Park. And you mix that, I always loved Jason Voorhees. Like, I love the Friday. You mix all the shit that I just naturally liked and gravitated towards was like the super over-the-top sarcastic shit, the visual, the imagery, just the ridiculousness. Like Jason fucking shoving a bitch's head in liquid nitrogen and then shattering it on the desk. Like, that's creative.
Hard as fuck. Well, I was going to say, too, is like the thing that people also don't realize about that time era is like the era when South Park first came out, or like Eminem came out, or like certain things like that were really like controversial. There was never anything like South Park. So I feel like when you're talking about that stuff, it's like that was never a thing, and then all of a sudden society had to deal with this craziness, like Kenny getting his head chopped off,
right?
and also it being a cartoon made it even that much more crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So I could see like even me. I mean, you know what I mean. It probably twisted me up too. But like watching South Park as a little kid, and like, but nowadays it's like on TV, like people can say bitch, shit, fuck. Back in the day, they censored all that shit.
Yeah,
So I think also to
Facts.
be more provocative back then was almost cooler too. Like nowadays, everybody can say whatever the fuck they want, but back then it was more like pushing the envelope. So I feel like that's probably where you got a lot of like your appreciation for it, because people probably heard you back then. Were like, first of all, you're younger, so they're like, what is this dude talking about? And then people wouldn't see. I like irony. So like to see G-Mo back then saying this crazy ass shit, that's what gets people caught up in your aura too. You know what I'm saying? So I think that also is like a foreshadowing of the future too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Can you explain to the audience how the Inf Gang came about?
So the Inf Gang, man, we all went to middle college, or like the first members. We all went to middle college together. I'm gonna say the first step was the starters, which was Nobi, Scam, and J Diz, and they were rapping and putting out CDs in high school. I had recorded a CD in middle school, so when I seen Nobi and them, like, you know, I'm like, yo, I rap too. And me and Nobi, we were in geometry together. Nobi was a sophomore, I was a freshman, but I was in geometry, and you know.
You were still a nutcase back then too. I think me and you clicked a lot in that class too, because we were both just like not giving a fuck,
not
really.
giving a fuck, we
and like just being wild, like
wildin', bro. I remember. So I got on the bus and Nobi was on the bus, and I'm like, "What's up, Nobi?" And we were chopping it up, and I was like, "Man, I rap too." And Nobi's like, "Yeah, man, like, let me hear something." And I think he wanted me to rap out loud, but I'm like, "Nigga, I had a CD on me." I'm like, "Yo, listen to this." He's
What
like, "Oh,
CD
you be
was
recording?"
that?
It was a diss track to some kid from John Sweat or something.
It was your diss track, right?
Yeah,
It
was a diss. It was me, my cousin, and my other cousin Lawan. Rest in peace, my cousin Juan. And we made a diss track to some kid at another school. And I showed it to Nobi on the bus. I'm like, listen to this shit. And Nobi was like, damn, bro, you actually rapping. Like, you rhyming on this motherfucker. And just ever since then, me and Nobi just clicked. And Nobi invited me to come record with him and the starters and shit. And that's kind of like the very start.
Didn't we first record in Contra Costa in one of the classrooms? Was that the first one? Remember where we were recording something on Cool Edit Pro?
The gas leak. You remember that?
Damn.
The gas leak. Wow.
That's what it was.
There was a fucking gas leak at our school, and they made us all move from the campus like to a building that was a little bit off campus. Now you gotta understand, we went to a community college for high school.
Yeah.
So as little kids, we was around adults and shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out Cool John. And
yep, Cool John. Cool John went there. I Am Sue. Love Rance was up there. J Ant.
Yep.
All of them, bro. Like,
shout out to all of them.
Shout out to all of them. And I just remember our classes got moved to somewhere off campus, and we were in there just free for all. And we had the fucking laptop, and we had the beats going, and me and Nobi, when we was spitting, bro.
You had the corded mic that was like the regular one for performances, but it was a Radio Shack mic.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yeah, it sure was.
But I just remember that process of us just sitting. We were in like just a classroom, just fucking recording. You remember what that song was? Who else was on that? Was there somebody else with us?
It was you and J Diz. It was
okay.
It was to What's the Difference?
That's right. See, that's why I'm thankful for people like you. You got a really good memory. I would never remember that. Yeah, that's fucking crazy.
And then all our other homies at the school, I found out Kev rapped, and you know what I mean? And Frank wanted to start rapping, and we all just start rapping together. And then, you know, we brought cats in.
Did you ever perform at the rallies?
I performed at the rally one time and I cursed.
What was it? Tell me about that, bro. I cannot remember.
You don't remember that shit?
I was gonna say I remember you doing it, but what happened? Did you get booted off or something?
No. So it was like we had this group performance. It was the starters, Kev, I think Frank, and Curtis.
I was gonna say Curtis was there. Shout out Curtis.
And then
Young C.
So they let me go last, right? And I'm like, yo, I'm a curse. Like,
I said, yo, I'm a curse.
I'm gonna curse. So like, we all had these like unique entrances to the stage, bro.
I'm remembering it now.
You know what I'm saying? We had these unique entrances to the fucking stage. And I was like, yo, I want y'all to wheel me out in a recycling bin, like a blue recycling bin. You know what I mean? And so in order for I was in this recycling bin the whole rally. Like the whole fucking rally, I'm just in this recycling bin peeking out like, nigga, don't nobody know I'm in here, right? Like the whole rally. So like the music goes, like Novi and them is rocking, everybody rocking, and one by one.
This shit stank in here.
It was a recycling bin, so it was cool. But we put like a little bridge or something, like an instrumental or whatever, and then somebody wheeled me onto the stage, bruh. And they opened the stage. I mean, they opened the recycling bin and they dropped a mic in there with the cord and everything. And like everybody was over the recycling bin like this, like they was working magic. And I just popped up and just started spitting. Bro. And like at the end, I'm like, till I accidentally cursed and they cut the fucking music off.
Oh my God.
And then nigga snatched the mic and closed the fucking lid and wheeled me off hella quick. It was lit.
Bro,
it was
you
a
just
moment.
Brought me back.
It was a moment, bro.
Holy shit. And was it, I forget, did anything happen from that? They just blew it off. They weren't even sure.
Man, they loved me at Middle College, bro. I was like, I don't know if you know this. I don't know if I ever told you this, but I was kind of like a poster child for Middle College because I was one of them kids. Like the reason why I went to Middle College was because I had gotten to it with a teacher in middle school. You know what I mean? Like, no, a teacher assistant in middle school. You know what I'm saying? And I said some shit like,
you cursed her out or something?
No, it was like my algebra teacher said a joke of like, one of my friends said they had to leave early for PE. And Mr. Samuels was like, okay, oh, you gotta go to PE? You gotta go pee? You gotta go to PE? He was making a joke. And I was like, you stupid, Mr. Samuels, like, you know, which is like, you funny. But the teacher assistant thought I called him stupid, like disrespectful. God. So the fucking teacher assistant, black guy, little Mighty Mouse looking motherfucker. He come up to my desk and he shake my desk like crazy, like, you little motherfucker, you better fucking watch your mouth. I'll have your little ass on the stretcher.
Whoa.
And like, I'm like hella shooken up, like, what the fuck? Like, he's shaking my desk. I stand up and like, I'm walking out like, man, watch out, bro. I'm hella emotional. And I said, nigga, you think you big and bad? I have my cousin come up here and clap this shit up. Woo. And that, like, you can't say that.
Bro.
You know what I mean? But I said that shit.
This was school shootings every week too, by the way.
Every week, but they had happened. Like Columbine and all that shit had happened. So they
said I'll come back and clap this bitch.
No, I didn't say I would. I said I had my big cousin come up here and clap this shit up or whatever I said. And now I'm in crazy amounts of trouble.
Yeah.
They made me go talk to the superintendent, Mr. Greenwood. And Mr. Greenwood was like, look, bro, when it comes to this like type of shit like this, bro, like you're not allowed to go to a school in this district. You know what I mean? But I'm like explaining my case to him and he's like, bro, the only way you can go to school in this district is if you sign up for Middle College and you might not make it. Like, cause you remember it was a selective process.
Yeah.
So I signed up for Middle College.
Because my ex-girlfriend's dad worked there. He put in the good word for me.
They put me on, bro. They put me in Middle College, right? And when me and you met when I was a freshman, I was just like a fucking class clown, fucking asshole. And my grades were on the ground. But throughout Middle College to the end of Middle College, like my GPA was like this. Like it was a steady climb. So they would use me as a poster child to how Middle College works for kids that might slip through the cracks at a regular high school.
Right.
So they kissed my ass a lot at Middle College, bro. Like
let you slide.
They let me slide a lot of times, bro. I was fucking all through high school, bro.
Hey, they tried to kick me out 3 times. I had 3 different meetings. They were trying to boot my ass out of there. Shout out to my pops, rest in peace again. But he held it down and kept me in that motherfucker. I don't know how the hell I did that.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's keep moving with that then. So you dropped your first project, which is like. I guess I don't know if that's first official, but Brain Rape, which is a crazy album name. Do you remember the process behind making that project? Like what that was?
Yeah, it was just me at my house just downloading a bunch of instrumentals from LimeWire and just like fucking making as many songs as I could and just trying to be as good as I could. And And
you were writing in notepads back then.
Yeah,
kids didn't have iPhones back then.
Straight up,
shit out.
Notebooks. I found some of them notebooks at my sister's house.
You need to sell them things.
I got them things. Actually, if you watch my video, you know who the Harry Potter one.
Yeah.
The book that the homie is writing in, that's my high school book. There's like an illustration of me on there. Like, you know how you doodle on the side of the page?
Yeah.
It's like an illustration of me with the fucking beanie with the wave cap hanging and shit. And yeah, so yeah, I was just at the house writing, bro. Like, that's all it was. And then, you know, printed it up and I fucking wrote all the songs, the song titles, like the track list on the actual CD and sold it at school for $5 a pop.
They don't know about that hustle. Didn't somebody sell one of those online like recently? Was it that project? Wait, hold on. Now I'm tripping. Brain Rape was before Mark of the Beast?
Yeah.
Okay, so Mark of the Beast was right after that.
Yeah.
Okay, so Brain Rape was the one that they were selling, right? Online? Somebody found a copy of that shit, right?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
No, somebody found a copy of every one.
Whoa.
Somebody has the whole collection.
Like real copies of it.
Yeah.
Not no fake, like
Hey,
somebody
bruh,
printed
and some
out.
nigga, bruh, I know who sold it. Like my homie Marlon from middle school. So, and I don't even know how he got it because he didn't go to middle college. Like,
you don't have any of those, do you?
I think my sister do. Like, I think my sister has like a couple of them things like in storage or something like that.
My cousin just found a bunch of shit. She found the first flyer for the start.
Oh,
all
yeah?
that shit, bro. Like, it just blows my mind. But like, so when you said I want to make a CD, because not everybody was burning and making their own shit back then. Like now, like I'm just trying to say these certain points because people are spoiled nowadays, bro.
Yeah.
Like these artists nowadays, they don't even need to do a CD. But back then, the hustle was you make a project, you put that shit out, and that's how you kind of like build a career, right? With having a discography. Do you remember what made you like go into it? So I would say like professionally, because nobody was really doing that shit. I mean, they were, but not really at our age though, right?
I just wanted people to hear it.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? I just wanted people at school to hear it. I just, you know, I might have been inspired by y'all. Like the starters had put out CDs and sold them at school.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And I'm like, damn, they're serious.
And do you remember how many you sold of those?
I printed 100. Every time I made a CD at school, I would make 100 CDs.
Yeah.
You know
and
what
you
I
were
mean?
printing though. I forget if you were printing at my house or what was going on. Did you?
I printed them at my house because, well, the thing is, the Brain Rape 1 was nothing. It was just I didn't even put the stickers on the CD.
Damn.
It was just the album cover. That's it. Inside of a regular ass case. It might have a back cover, but it might not have. I was writing the track list on the CD with a marker.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then Mark of the Beast, the next CD I made, which Nobi 100% produced every song on there, except for 2. There was 2 that I produced.
If anybody has a hard copy, please sell it to us. We need that, bro. We need that.
I have the files.
Damn.
They sound horrible.
Oh, shit.
Like, they were horrible. All these songs
yeah.
were horrible, but I felt like I had to get the experience, bro, to get as good as I wanted to. But
isn't it funny to think about those projects, though, and think about, like, you probably did feel like that was your Slim Shady LP or your Get Rich or Die Trying every time you put out a project, right? Like, you had that vision of, like, this is going to be the dopest shit ever. And at that time, we probably did think it was, right? Like, did you feel that way, too, when you were putting this shit out? You were always, like, super critical of yourself, like, nah, this ain't it.
No, I thought it was okay at first. Like, I was delusional. I went through my delusional rapper phase. I'm just glad I did it early. That's like, all the shit I did in high school, I'm glad I did it because it just prepared me for when I got out of high school, because we was good. Once we got out of high school, we was way better. We was more polished. We still wasn't as good as we could be. We hadn't peaked, but I just got better with everything I did. So once I got to that Mark of the Beast, I go back and listen to that first Brain Rape, and I'm like, oh my God, my fucking voice is squeaky as fuck. The fucking mix is horrible. Everything horrible. And then I thought Mark of the Beast was dope. And then I made Brain Rape Volume 2 and on a better mic. And I'm like, oh, both of these old ones are trash. And you know what I mean? And you just keep going and keep going. By the time I made Got Filth 1, which my fans are familiar with, like, all that shit in high school I was afraid of. Like, please, I hope nobody ever hears this ever.
So let's kind of talk about that then, too, because I guess Got Filth would then be your third release, right? Fourth, okay. So what came before Got Filth? Brain Rape 2?
Brain Rape 2, yeah.
Okay. So with Got Filth, though, that dropped, which is crazy to think, though, 2011. And let me ask you about the process with that, because there's a song back then called Shit Bowl with Hobson. And do you remember how that song came about?
Yeah. Nobi and Cats and them, they went to LA and met Hobson. This is way before he blew up. I think he was still on Ruthless at the time.
I forgot he was on Ruthless.
Yeah, I had never heard of him. And then Nobi and them came from LA, like, yo, we met this dude, Hobson, bro. He's hella dope. You know what I mean? And they made a music video. Nobi and them made a music video with
Out of My Mind.
Out of My Mind. And all of that. And I'm like, damn, like this dude kind of rap like me a little bit. Like, you know, I related to him because he was saying over the top shit or whatever. You know what I mean? I went to listen to some of his other music and I'm just like, damn. So I hit him up. I'm like, yo, Hop, man, I fuck with Nobi and them. You know what I mean? I'm in the Inf gang, bro. Like,
this is what, MySpace?
No, this was Facebook.
Okay.
Still. It was Facebook.
So Hobson was on there politicking on Facebook still. That's funny.
And he charged me $50 for that verse. He's like,
wow.
I hit him, I'm like, yo, man, I want to get on a song with you or whatever. He's like, yo, times is hard, bro. So if you could throw a nigga $50, I got you, G. And I'm like, for sure.
Shit.
Gave that nigga $50, bro. I sent him like Brace Yourself and Dirty Motherfucker. I remember he listened to him. He was like, yo, that was dope. The Nicki Minaj.
Is that Dirty Motherfucker the one we did the scratch on?
Yeah.
Damn.
The one we did. I sent that shit to him. And I said that shit like, got my dick lodged in Nicki Minaj's twat, pull it out her ass and make the bitch massage the top. And like, Hobson was like, that was clean, bro. He was like, you say some crazy dope shit.
Right.
So like, we made that song together. And shout out to Hobson, bro, because even when Hobson blew up, it's not like he just said, oh, fuck them little niggas in the Bay or nothing. He's our guy. Like, we invite that nigga to the Inf Gang barbecue, he slide through. Like, I felt like he fucked with the Inf Gang in a way that he didn't fuck with nobody else like that. Like, he would pull up for us, bro. Like, he fucked with us. And even to this day, like, you feel me? Non-essential rapper. Like, that nigga saw me rapping non-essential rapper on Instagram and hit me up, G-Mo, let me get on this, bro. This is hilarious. So Hobson's a real one, bro. Like, shout out to the mans, bro.
Yeah, shout out to him. I mean, yeah, that time frame for Hobson was crazy. That was, I mean, does he still wear the contacts? Is he still with the contacts?
Yes.
Because I remember meeting Hobson for the first time in LA and he walked up and he had those big ass goth pants with the chains.
Oh,
on
yeah.
He had an eyebrow piercing. He had the contacts, like, bro.
With the skull rings and shit.
Yes.
That nigga was,
Bro, what a time. That shit's crazy. Okay, so let's go into a little bit, and right after that, on your fifth release when we got Phil 2?
Yep.
So you put out a song and a music video for your song Bay Area Dropout, where you basically win at Thizzler and KMEL in the song and the video. So can you tell the audience about the story behind that and how that came about?
So I wanted to be a Bay Area freshman because I was making a lot of noise at the time. Like, I was on Team Backpack, which I was the first ever Team Backpack audition winner ever.
Wow.
I was the first one to ever win the audition.
Okay,
ever.
Before we go into the Bay Area Dropout, so how did you win the audition? That was what? Where was that? Where did that take place? Where you won that?
We recorded that audition at Cho House in El Sobrante.
Oh, so this was like the online one. You got into the cypher.
Yeah.
Shout out to Team Backpack. Yeah, that's crazy. So you did your audition online, put the video out, and then you got chosen as the first one.
Yeah.
Damn. See, that's why I like doing these interviews. I remember shit. I'm like, wow.
Yeah. And that was like the filth came to Team Backpack. And it was like I was making mad noise. The Chris Tucker fist fucker. Yeah. That line, like, everybody in the Bay Area knew who I was, bro. Like, that shit, like, niggas would start recognizing me on the street and all that shit. Like,
I remember how proud I was of you for that happening too.
Yo, Nobi is the nigga, bro. Nobi is the one who told me about Team Backpack. We sitting at the house just chilling. And Nobi is like, bro, look, they doing these ciphers, these Team Backpack ciphers, bro. I want to get, Nobi was like, I want to get on it, bro. But to be real, G-Mo, they don't have somebody like you. Yep. Like, they need you, bro. Yep. And he's like, just audition for that shit, bro. And like, I did it.
This was pre-you, like, where you were more like hesitant in opportunities like that too. Where you would have damn near just been like, nah, I'm cool, cuz.
Yeah, because I was, at the time, I was saying some wild shit. Yeah. Like, but yeah, we did that and we got on there. And I felt like I was making a lot of noise. And so when they was doing the Bay Area freshman shit, I remember Matt Warner had hit me up.
Thizzler.
he hit me up to do an interview, Under the Bay interview, and he picked me up and we did the interview and all of this shit. And I was talking to him, yo, man, it would be dope if I was on that Bay Area Freshman. Like, my music is reaching motherfuckers in the Midwest and everything. Like, I got people in Australia that like the shit that I do. Like, my shit is like beyond right now. And he was like, oh yeah, man, just keep grinding, man, and whoop-de-whoop. And I didn't become a Bay Area Freshman that year. So like the next year came and I'm like, oh, they doing that Bay Area Freshman shit? I decided it would be way cooler to diss them than to try to get on it. So before they even announced who the winners was that year, I was like, I'm about to drop Bay Area Dropout. And I just like, it was just little ideas to go viral at the time. Like, you know, like what's gonna help, like what's entertaining? What would entertain people?
What's different too, though? That's what I respect about that. So just fill people in a little bit about this music video. So it takes place. What takes place in this video?
It's like I'm in a classroom and the teacher gives me a paper and like I look at the paper and I'm just like, fuck, like I failed or something. I'm in a fucking cap and gown. And this was the first time my fans ever seen me without a furry hat on. It was very funny.
That's right.
And I'm like fucking like hella sad about not being accepted to the Bay Area Freshman. And I'm like walking past the water, kicking up dust and shit. And I'm rapping like this emotional song and shit. And then it stops and it goes dark. You know what I mean? And then it comes to some real rap shit. And I return to the school and fucking.
What beat was that?
It was Animal by Jadakiss, you know, the 50 Cent diss.
That's right.
The first beat was Lupe Fiasco.
Okay,
Daydream.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Wait, was that Lupe Fiasco?
It was Lupe, then it turned to the Jadakiss, and then you know we just went crazy on that shit. Yeah. So that happened, and that shit got a buzz. That shit got traction and shit. Yep. And like I remember niggas from the Bay tweeting about it, like rappers that would never look down to us. Rappers that would never acknowledge us was tweeting about that shit. I remember Love Rance was like, I see you, G-Mo. Like, you know what I mean? And then there was some people who just disapproved of it and was talking they shit, but they
kind of had to. Certain people had to. Mm-hmm. They had to be like, nah, we can't appreciate that. So do you feel like it was more positive like reaction to it, or do you feel like you caught a lot of backlash for it?
No, I felt like it was real positive. I mean, yo, they put me in the freshman that year. After the disc dropped and all the buzz and shit happened, and then they announced the freshman and I was in it.
Hey, checkmate. That's fire as fuck.
Oh my God. That's just shout out to Thizzler and Cameo though. No hard feelings and shit.
Shout out to both of them.
It's just hip hop, man. I'm trying to make shit interesting in the Bay at the time.
I just had Sealy on here the other day.
I seen that.
I should have asked him about that. You remember that? Yeah, that's crazy. Okay, so in 2016, to move a little forward, you signed to Magic Ninja ENT.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
Man, so the year before that, I had put out the Android 15 EP, which is like regarded as probably my fans' favorite project I ever put out. It had Ignan on it, my highest view video, Nigga Hush, the Wombo Combo, like Friendly Neighborhood, G-Mo. It was just represent, Pinkies in her, you know what I mean? All that shit. Like it had so many fire songs on it. It was just making noise. And I got invited to perform at the Gathering of the Juggalos. So I went and I performed at the Up and Comer stage. Little did I know, Twisted and George, somebody from there, I think it was George, was watching me perform. At the time, I didn't know who Twisted was. I wasn't big on the Juggalo culture thing. I was learning at that motherfucking gathering. I was learning everything. And it actually is interesting because it all comes full circle because I performed. My homie Inner Demon was like, yo, G-Mo, we got to go see Twisted. They're like my favorite, bro. I love these niggas.
Shout out Inner Demon.
We went to the fucking, shout out my mans. We went to the main stage to watch Twisted, right? They got these fucking giant beach balls, like huge, ginormous beach balls. They pushing out into this fucking sea of people. And I'm high on mushrooms. And I'm just like watching that shit like, whoa, you know what I mean? Now, fast forward maybe a month later, George hits me up and he's like, yo, G-Mo, we got 3 shows coming up, this Bloody Valentine's thing we doing. We want you to come and open for us. Cool. I almost passed up on that because like they wasn't gonna cover my travel or nothing. It's like, nah, bro, just come take the opportunity, bro. And I almost passed up on it, but I was like, you know what, George, I'm gonna do it. So I went and I did it, and it was huge crowds and just wild shit. And I remember I crowd surfed because I remember, I think it might have been in I can't remember, maybe Cincinnati, or I can't remember what city that was, but I crowd surfed. I was wilding. Like me and Kev, we like killed it. And George was like, I'm gonna be in contact. So we get back to California, maybe a week later or something, I get a call from George. He left a voicemail like, what do you think about signing a deal with Magic Ninja Entertainment, bro? Like, we like what you doing. We like your videos, your music. You look like you could just take care of yourself. Y'all, like, you got a whole movement going on. I was like, hell yeah, you know what I mean? Because I had just seen them huge crowds. I had seen all this shit. I'm like, fuck yeah. And I signed that deal. And I remember when it got revealed, like all of my fans were so excited. Like everybody was juiced. Like it was a moment for all of us. It was great, bro.
Yeah, I remember that. As far as that goes, when you get signed to a label like that, so for our audience that's watching that doesn't really know the history as far as like MNE and all that, so they were originally signed to Insane Clown Posse under them, and then they kind of branched off and did their own thing and made a huge label for themselves, basically. Like, what was that feeling like for you to have that opportunity? Did it feel like this is my shot right now? Like, this is my moment? Did that feel like just a big situation where you felt like this is my door to go walk through?
It for sure was. Because, you know, we had, like, Nobi knows better than anybody. Like, we had been working for years relentlessly, like.
With very little opportunities.
Very little opportunity, bro. But at the same time, it was almost like, man, as long as you putting in the work and you moving your feet, things happen, bro. Like, we connected with Hobson before he was a millionaire. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we did so much. The team backpack shit. Before I signed to M&E, I had already had the song with Vinny Paz. You know what I mean? So like there was so much good shit happening just because we kept moving our feet. Like you never want to feel successful.
Or the starting line.
It was the starting line. Like everything before that was the training wheels, bro. But like mentally, I thought it was a finish line, which is bad. You know what I mean? Like I felt success, but you do not want to feel success ever. Ever.
Okay, hold on. Let's go deeper on that. So what do you mean by that? You don't want to feel successful.
You don't want to feel successful, bro.
Why?
Like because you start getting weak. You start getting slow. You start getting fucking happy. You start getting like, oh, I made it. Oh shit. Like you start slowing down. Fuck that. Stay that hungry motherfucker. Even when you do get successful, bro. And that's how motherfuckers are like Too Short. Been rapping since the fucking 80s. He's like one of the first rappers ever, but the motherfucker's still putting shit out because he never felt like my job here is done. You know what I'm saying?
And that's what LaRussell said to me the other day when I was interviewing him. He said that basically I still hustle like I got nothing.
Nothing, yes.
And I think that's very important because even like I wanted to touch on this, what you said earlier about where you almost passed on that opportunity because they didn't pay for the flights or whatever. But I think that's a very good point to make is like, just because you're not making some money on it or everything isn't paid for doesn't mean that that's not going to be a life-changing event. And I think a lot of people think nowadays like your success is going to come right off the bat, but it's a bunch of small wins that add up to the big win at the end of the day.
To clear it up, they did pay me, right, for the performances. They just didn't cover the travel. That's it.
But still in that same sense, that could have been you saying, I'm not
going.
You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's a good statement for younger artists is like, take what you can get out of the situation that's positive and accept it for getting you to a higher level. And don't just give up on that shit. Because I feel like a lot of younger artists are like, I deserve this. They feel like I need everything. It's like, no, take a breather. Take it for what it is. You know what I'm saying?
So
and that shit can get you to a certain level. Okay, so let me ask you this then. Like, as someone who wasn't a juggalo, what was it like to be kind of thrown into that world of the juggalo? Shout out to all the juggalos out there, by the way. Real fans. But how was that to kind of jump into that from where you're from?
It was cool because it was like the gathering, right? Like when I first went to the gathering, when I posted that I was going to the gathering, I got a lot of like messages from like some of my non-Juggalo homies. Like I remember Marv One. Marv One had commented or something like, yo, G, be careful. Like, you know what I mean? He was like, be careful out there.
Right.
So there's a lot of people like that hitting me up like, yo, be safe out there, bro. Like that shit get crazy and all of this.
Yeah.
So when I was going to the gathering, I guess I was going off of what people were telling me to be safe and shit goes crazy and all of this shit. But when I got there, it was love, my nigga. Like, it was like the greatest shit ever. Like, you know what I mean? Everybody fucked with me. Everybody was cool. I didn't see no ridiculous shit. I mean, yeah, I did. That's a lie. But I mean, it wasn't like no dangerous.
You just had flashbacks right there.
No, I remember a nigga blew up a porta potty and all type of crazy shit. Like, but it was no danger. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it was none of that. And it was just cool motherfuckers that appreciated hip hop. Like, you know what I mean? Like, motherfuckers who recognized me, like, G-Mo Skee, oh, nigga, I love you, nigga. Like, so it was love. And so I think the negative stigma they try to put on the Juggalos and the gathering and shit. Once you go there and you realize these motherfuckers is full of love and they just want to have fun, and you know what I'm saying? Like, it became cool. I'm like, oh man, this shit is dope. You know what I'm saying? So it was all good. I'm just like, man, these are just underground rap fans, man. Like, that's all it is. You know what I mean? So that's what it was.
So being at the gathering, and if people don't really know what the gathering of the Juggalos is, it's basically a yearly event, right? Where they all come together and turn the fuck up for like a whole week. What was the craziest shit that you seen at your first gathering?
Probably that porta potty blowing up.
What happened with that?
I remember me and my homie Tyler Edwards, we was watching Whitney Payton perform, and there was a porta potty over to the right over there, and me and Tyler were like rolling up or something like this, and nigga, you just see a bunch of niggas running. That's like a bunch of niggas was like running away. I'm like, what the fuck? Blue, nigga, you see a bunch of blue juice just flying everywhere because you know they got the blue shit inside the porta potty. Niggas blew up a porta potty.
What did they throw, like an M1000
I
in
think
there?
so. Like, yeah.
Yeah, that's funny as hell. Yeah. Okay, so during that time, you dropped your single G, and you also dropped an official video with that. That video is super high production value. Can you go into a little bit about like the process behind that? Because for the people that don't know, you've had a history of, and we have, of shooting our own like videos and stuff like that. Was that kind of like a groundbreaking moment for you with that video? And how did that process come about?
Yeah, that was, man, I'll never forget that. Shout out to Roy Kiram. So this was before we announced that I was signed. So it was like still a secret. But Magic Ninja was like, yo, G, we want you to fly to LA and work with this video producer. Just let him know what you want. So I write all my own videos. Like every video, I write it. Like damn near every scene, right? Like Novi knows it gets complicated sometimes. Like scene for scene, I have it all written. So I wrote the video and I came up with the idea of like G. Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, who could do G? Who make you do G? So my idea was like, have a gaming show where motherfuckers is spinning the wheel and everything and like had a little G's pop up and all of this, but it's like the wheel of misfortune, not the wheel of fortune, the wheel of misfortune. So all the things on the wheel is like sledgehammer, barbed wire, bat, fucking all of these crazy things.
Back to the cartoons again.
Yeah, so like if you get a question wrong, you spin the shit and whatever it lands on, that's how you get killed. So Roy Kiram, this motherfucker has worked on like House on Haunted Hill. He made the original Power Ranger mask and all of this shit. Or I'm sorry, I would hate to give false facts, but I know he made something on Power Rangers.
That's tight.
He worked on a lot of movies. So he had all the shit. He had fucking all type of raw ass shit. He built the whole set.
Like that too.
He could make blood squirt. He could do it all, nigga. Like, bro, it was so fucking dope. We in this fucking studio. This one nigga spin the wheel and then land on Russian roulette. So he's got this fucking revolver in his mouth and he's like fucking like, you know, clicking it and shit. And then he blows his brains out and like, Roy had this fucking like tube behind the cuz and it like splattered onto the wall. It was the coolest shit ever. If you haven't seen the G video, go watch it. It is too good. Like,
yeah, it's a gory ass video.
Yeah.
But you could tell though that was a really, like I said, high production value video. So how long did that process take to shoot that video? Did it take hella long?
Just a couple hours, like any other regular video. Like it didn't take too long. Nah, it was cool.
Yeah. You can definitely tell when you watch that one though, just like the process behind it seems like it was crazy, but that's dope.
But you know what was cool was working with other people, because usually it's me and Nobi, you know what I mean? Or me and Cats or whatever. And this time I was by myself. Nobody was with me. So I was kind of nervous because I'm in this fucking studio full of people that I don't know. And I'm saying—
Where are you guys at? LA?
LA. I'm saying ridiculous shit on this song and I'm doing ridiculous shit and it's just a bunch of people behind the camera that I don't know. So I kind of felt weird.
Yeah.
But like, I wasn't talking too much before we start shooting because I was like kind of nervous. But like after I performed and I was doing my shit, they was all like, yo, this nigga don't like Roy was like, your fucking facial expressions are hilarious. Like how you smile crazy and the things you do, like when you start dancing and shit. And they just gave me so much respect for the way that I performed it that I realized I was a good performer. Like, you know what I mean? Like your friends get used to it. They don't always pat you on the back like, that was dope, G. They might say it's dope, but they've seen it a million times. These were strangers that was like, yo, G. This man is a genius. And they respected me for the idea. It was like magic happens outside your comfort zone.
When you're doing like productions like that by yourself and like say roll into like the Gathering of the Juggalos or whatever, or a big show out of state, like do you feel pressure to do stuff like that alone? Or do you feel like you thrive more under that pressure?
No, I like to have one of my friends with me, like at all times. Like I love to have just one person from the Inf Gang with me. Like no matter what I'm doing, I prefer to have one person. Like because my friends bring the best out of me. Like they bring the best version of me out. Like they help me stay funny, my sense of humor up. I just feel more comfortable. I feel like I got a piece of home with me. And I want to share my experiences with my friends. You know what I mean? So like every tour I ever went on, I'm like, man, somebody got to come with me. You know what I mean? But I have done tours where I was by myself, like the Kung Fu Vampire Hunger Pains tour, Generation Nightmare with Twisted. Like I've done them by myself, but I prefer to have just one of my boys with me, just one at least.
Well, even I understand that too, but like I know I've seen like you operate by yourself too, and like in pressurized situations. How do you get yourself like ready for like, say if you're gonna go to a show on your own or go on tour by yourself? Do you feel pressure or do you just go, I'm just gonna roll with the punches?
I'm gonna get it done, but I do feel pressure. Like it's like I gotta do a little less than I would do. I gotta like be more responsible. You know what I mean? Like, cause you know, being on stage by yourself, you gotta hit every word. You gotta like be in pocket. It's just you up there. But I feel like that takes away from the hype. Like if it was up to me, I would have 10 of my niggas on stage.
Like a G-Unit concert.
Yeah, like that's what I prefer. I prefer to have the whole Inf Gang on stage with me, like whatever I'm doing. That's what I prefer. But when there's moments where I can't take nobody with me, I definitely concentrate way more. I practice way more, and I've got my little tricks and shit. Like when you perform, right? If you take out words like "and," that shit helps. Like for example, the African honey badger doesn't give a shit. I throw you off a roof and pray to God you hit a fence. Now, if I'm by myself, I'll be like, the African honey badger doesn't give a shit. I throw you off a roof, pray to God you hit a fence. Like I'll take the "and" out.
Gives you a breathing second.
Bro, there's words you can just take out of everything you do that like, it's just, I got my little techniques, bro. Like I'm gonna get it done. Like ain't nothing gonna stop me.
Yeah, but I respect that about you too, because like, you know, there's times where you can't really have everybody there with you or whatever the situation might be. But I always respect people that can like handle business on their own as well. Because I have those type of situations, like if I can't have somebody come assist me at a shoot or I got to run whatever on my own, it's like that takes a certain type of beast to be able to do that shit and make the shit get done and not fumble. You know what I'm saying? So like, I definitely respect that.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, I definitely respect that. So speaking about shows, let's go over this. I think it was from 2018. There's a video of you jumping off stage and kicking this dude in the face. Can you tell us what happened with that story? Do you remember?
Yeah, so like the dude, we were mad cool, like, and this was a lesson I had to learn of like when you're on these tours, it's cool to make friends, but it's kind of not cool to make friends, right? Like when I first start touring and doing these things, I thought that I would be cooler if I was more accessible to everybody. You know what I mean? Being in the parking lot, when I'm done on stage, let me go to the crowd and hang out and watch the main act while I'm in the audience, and let me smoke weed with whoever wants to smoke. Let me just chill with everybody. That shit might be cool and shit, but eventually you learn why your favorite rappers stay the fuck out of everybody's face. You start to understand because some of these people that you meet in a whole nother state, you might meet them twice. They start to feel too close to you. They start to feel like they know you. They start to get comfortable with you and they start doing weird shit.
Right.
But they don't really know you.
Right.
You know what I mean? So in this case, me and homie was cool. I ended up, like, Tech N9ne had invited me to go to lunch while I was on tour. So we went to lunch with Tech N9ne.
This is that same time frame.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, no.
Okay.
It wasn't. Like, so there's like a lead up to it all. But
this is around that same time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because this was a Twisted tour I was on when we had lunch with Twisted. But when I kicked Bro, it was on a Cess Crew tour.
Okay.
So we went to lunch with Tech. We taking pictures and videos. We posting it all on the internet. Now this dude, who I thought was my homie, he's in the comments on every post. Like, man, G-Mo don't even like Tech N9ne. Man, G-Mo don't even like Tech N9ne music. Man, G-Mo don't even like Tech N9ne. Like, he was spamming that shit everywhere he could. So I guess one of the times we hung out, me and him were debating who's better between Vinnie Paz and Tech N9ne. Jedi Mind Tricks and Tech N9ne, like, they're like two of the biggest independent rap acts.
Facts.
This is a decent debate. You know what I'm saying? But I thought that I could, like, have this conversation with him. I'm on team Vinnie Paz, he on team Tech N9ne. It's a harmless it's a harmless conversation that you wouldn't even think twice about.
Yep.
But now that I'm hanging out with Tech N9ne, he's like spamming, G-Mo don't even like Tech N9ne. And he's putting it on everybody's post. Like, Twisted posted it, he put it there. I posted it, he put it there. Tech N9ne posted it, he put it there.
Basically instigating.
He was trying to fuck up the bag, bro.
Yeah.
So I fucking messaged him like, bro, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
And he was like, I'm just fucking with you, bro. Don't be butthurt and all of this. I'm like, bro, like, what do you mean? You spamming that shit everywhere? Like, that shit ain't cool. And he was on some like, you butthurt. Like, I'm like, man, all right, this nigga weird. I let it go. So then my homie Inner Demon was talking to me. He was like, yo, I was playing video games with dude. And he was saying like, I don't fuck with G-Mo no more. He switched up. Like, once he got a little popular, he feel like he too famous for niggas or something, which is like, that's ridiculous. That's not why. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's that has nothing to do with nothing, bro. Like, you know what happened. So I'm telling Inner Demon what really happened, and that's it. I'm not even tripping off this situation at all. Like, I'm like, man, whatever. Like, this is just a random dude. I'm not tripping.
Yeah.
So I'm on stage at a sold-out show in Denver. I had just finished the song, and I seen this dude in front of the barricade. Like, he's not in the front row of the crowd. He's in front of the crowd. He's like, he shouldn't even be there.
No.
Like, bro, if you go watch the video, the fucking security guy, dumbass security just sitting there like this. While this random ass man is in front of the barricade, bro. He's in front of the barricade with his arms crossed like this, looking at me on stage. As soon as I seen him,
fire that security,
bro. As soon as I seen
security
him,
guard.
I was like, he was venue security, like, right? But as soon as I seen dude, he's looking at me with his arms crossed like this, and I was like, yo, what's up, bro? Like, we got a problem, bro. Like, is we good? And all he had to do was say, yeah, we good, and it would have been over. Like, bro, you know what you're doing right now. Being in front of this barricade with your arms crossed and all of that shit, mean mugging. I addressed him. Is we good? And he kept like, is we good? You tell me. You're the one who has a problem. I don't have a problem, bro. Like, I just explained the story to you, Nobi. Like I explained to you. This is just weird. This nigga's just being weird. So I'm like, bro, just tell me, bro, is we good or is we not good? Like, brother, you are at my show in front of the fucking barricade. Like, nigga, is we good? Like, what's really good? And like, it never even went through my head to jump off stage and kick him. Like, that was never in my plans. You know what I mean? I wish he would have just said, yeah, G, we good. You my nigga. I would have pulled him on stage. Like, come on, bro. You my dog.
Right.
But instead, he said, you were the one talking shit, bro. And that's what made me snap because I just like, when niggas lie or twist the truth or anything, I just explained the full situation. You know what I mean? So for him to say that, like, you were the one talking shit, bro, it just made me fucking snap, bro. And nigga, I don't even know, bro. Like, my body just went, bro. Like, I stepped on that nigga face, bro. Like, I felt the bottom of my shoe roll off that nigga lip, bro. Like, and I hit the ground. Like, I didn't land on my feet. Like, I kicked him in the face and hit the fucking ground. And he got on top of me and was like hitting me in the back of my head.
Damn.
And then the audience beat his ass.
Damn.
Simple as
Yanked
that.
his
Like,
ass off.
all my niggas, like Body Bag, Syndicate, my nigga 1Z. Like, I got a lot of folks out there, and they, I remember 1Z baseball slid, nigga, was on. Don't fuck with my nigga G-Mo, fuck my nigga G-Mo. I see, nigga, I'm on the ground myself, nigga. I see beer and shit, nigga. I see this nigga pulled up in the fog. And yeah, that's what happened.
And then what? You just got back up on stage?
I got back up on stage and I finished my set.
Sheesh.
And then after my set, the venue was like, all right, G, we need you to leave.
Get the fuck out of here.
So I had to get up out of there, and that was that. And I hated that I did that, you know what I mean? But at the same time, it was just a lesson of like, bro, stop being everybody's friend, bro. Like, you are a
figure.
Don't let niggas see you until you come out on stage, bro. Because I was the type of nigga, I'd jump off the tour bus. I'm with Twisted and them on a bus, nigga.
Yep.
Shout out to Twisted for that, because some people will never experience being on a tour bus, man. So that shit is in my heart. The fact that I was on a bus, but I used to jump off the bus and just run straight into the line, nigga, where everybody lined up. What's up, y'all, nigga, what's good? Yep. Being too cool, but I learned, like, bro, they'll love you a lot more if the first time they see you is when you step on stage.
And then let it be known afterwards or be cool afterwards.
Yeah, bro. So it was just a learning thing, and you don't want to leave little beefs in cities and shit like that, bro. It was just a learning thing, bro, for me, bro.
Sometimes somebody's got to get kicked in the face. That's just how it is.
Yeah.
He could have handled that better in his own way. Okay, let's go into this then. So around that time, you dropped the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Filth Factory.
Filth Factory, yeah, excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
And when it came to making that project, like, that's a super creative concept.
Mm-hmm.
What is your process behind, like, cultivating a concept project like that? Like, does it just come to you randomly at night and you're just like, oh, I'm gonna do this?
Some of them do, yeah. Some of them do, but some of them is like just stupid shit my friends talk about. Like, I'm chilling with the homies. I think Adam was like, bro, you should do a Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, but Charlie and the Filth Factory. And it'll just be conversation that a lot of times, I'm a nigga, like, if you give me an idea, I'm going to bring it to life. Yep. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, it's just little, like, Crowder sometimes gives me like an idea or something like, yo, it'd be hella funny if you did this. And it's like, I'll take that shit and really do it, but yeah, I'll elaborate on it. So like the idea just came from me and my homie sitting around, but my first album, Spirit Bomb, was coming out, and I was like, yo, it'd be dope if my second album was Charlie and the Filth Factory. And if you bought Spirit Bomb, you have a chance of finding the moldy ticket.
Yep.
Kind of like the golden ticket from the Chocolate Factory.
Hella dope.
So all of my fans bought these physicals of Spirit Bomb, my debut album, and 5 of them found a moldy ticket inside of their CD case.
Genius.
So if you find the moldy ticket, you're invited to come to the studio to help us record the skits for Charlie and the Filth Factory. Now that whole album is like, the Filth Factory is my brain. It's like my creative process, my imagination. So the concept of the CD is like, I'm giving the fans a tour of my creative process and why I say crazy shit and all of this. But in reality, it's like, it was real too, because I really have fans who are the kids on this fucking album.
Yep.
There's a skit at the end of every song of this album that's like, they're all dying one by one. You know what I mean? It's just like the movie, but filthy. So that was super fucking cool. Just, that was like a super cool concept, bro. Like,
Yeah, and like I love like when I look back on like projects like that, I love like the concept art and like all that stuff comes together, but you also like link it well visually where like the album cover goes with the main music video. So and that was another like high production music video, right? You had like dwarfs and shit.
Yeah.
And, like
those were actually kids.
strippers.
I had one of them was a real dwarf who passed.
Damn, rest in peace.
Rest in peace, bro. And the rest of them in the factory were actually little kids.
Oh, okay. And you guys shot that in like Detroit, right?
Yeah.
At some like, what was that? Like just a factory?
No, it was just an empty space, but the director had got a conveyor belt. So we turned it into a factory. And then my man, prop man Mike, made the giant GameCube. So it was like the conveyor belt was coming out of the GameCube and shit. We got a bunch of boxes and yeah, it was that shit was tight.
And how much of that like concept is you?
All of it.
Crazy.
Except for the conveyor belt. I didn't ask for the conveyor belt. That like the director created that.
But just as far as like the concept of the video, you come together and say, I'm gonna make this, and then that became that idea.
Yes, I write it all the time. I write like every piece of that shit, every scene, I wrote it, but he just added the flair to it with the conveyor belt.
That's hella dope, bro. And then so on that album, is that the first album that you had Vinny Paz on your album, or that was before?
Yeah.
So how did that Vinny Paz relationship come about?
So the Vinny Paz, one day me, Nobi, Jason Lumberjack, we was all at First Friday in Oakland. First Friday, right? Isn't that what it's called? First Friday? And this guy stopped me and gave me a flyer, and then he disappeared in the crowd. I look at the flyer, and there's these upcoming shows to the New Parish. One was Funk Volume, Hobson and them. The other one was Ill Bill and Vinny Paz. Another one was like Sugar Free and them.
Damn,
these are all
good week.
Nigga, I'm saying, I was like, bruh, I dug through that crowd. Like, nigga, where this nigga go? I stopped, bro. I'm like, how the fuck do I open for these, bro? He was like, bro, you just got to give me like a $200 deposit. I'll give you some tickets. I'll give you 60 tickets. No, I'll give you 70 tickets. 10 of them will be for you to make money yourself.
Damn.
I'm like, nigga, done deal. Give me your number.
Vinny Paz and Hobson all in 1 week. That's
yeah,
wild.
bro. So like, I think Jason Lumberjack fronted me the money for the deposits. I got the tickets. We sold the fuck out of them tickets, bro.
I remember.
First, we opened for Hobson and them. After we opened for that, Dame, at the end of the night, Dame was like, G, what you doing tomorrow? We finna perform in Santa Cruz. He let us come perform in Santa Cruz the next day. And then the month later, it was like in November, Ill Bill and Vinny Paz performed. We was in that bitch. We did our thing.
You remember how you met Vinny Paz though that night?
Yeah.
Can you let people know
about
that?
At the end of the night, we went to the dressing room up there, knocked on the door. Security was like, what? Like he opened the door like, what? I was like, man, I'm the opener, bro. I just wanted to say what's up to Vinny before we shake the spot. And I think dude looked and was like, hey, bro, the opener out here. Vinny was like, let him in. I'm like, for sure. We slid up in there. And it was kind of intense. You remember that shit, Nobi? Like when we walked in there, like everybody was like, I remember like Vinny was like on the couch, nigga, like looking back, like,
yeah, it was like 40 people in there.
It was hella niggas in there, but it was dead silent. Like we entered that bitch and it was dead silent, just hella eyes just looking at us. I was like, hey, yo, Vinny, bro, I'm the opener, bro. I just wanted to come say what's up before we left. And Vinny was like, oh, you G-Mo Skee? I'm like, yeah. He was like, G-Mo Skee. Bro, that's the illest rap name I ever heard. G-Mo Skee. That's fire. I was like, for real? He was like, nah, for real. Like, nigga, I'm V-Mo Skee now.
Yeah.
I'm like, word? He's like, yeah, bro. And I gave him 5. He was like, I'm a peep. And that's it. Like, and then
for also just a prerequisite to that is that me and G-Mo have been Jedi Mind Tricks, Vinny Paz fans since we were young. I think I put G-Mo on to Jedi Mind Tricks. Yep. And then that moment was like so crazy to like meet him in person because I feel like Jedi Mind Tricks, Vinny Paz, even Ill Bill, there's like a certain level of lyricism and just like sort of the same way with you, like as far as like creating projects that have like a concept but also just like a energy to them is like Jedi Mind Tricks, Vinny Paz, Ill Bill. All their shit comes together as like a perfect storm every project they make. So I think that is like a crazy full circle moment. I remember how fucking nervous I was meeting it too.
Yeah, I remember Novi walked up to Vinny like, yo, Vinny, bro, you are a huge inspiration, bro. Gave me 5.
I mean, that's a life-changing moment.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
And personally for me, so Novi put me up on Ill Bill, Necro, Vinny Paz, all of that, like in high school, Jedi Mind. And when I used to listen to their music, like how smart that shit sounded, how intelligent it sounded, I literally used to think in my mind, like, I don't want to meet this motherfucker. Like, I used to think, like, it'll probably be tough meeting this dude. Like, he be saying some shit.
Yep.
Like, I literally thought that in my mind before, but I actually met him. And the nigga was cool as fuck, bruh. And then...
That's kind of like how The Gathering was for you. It's like, you feel like The Gathering's going to be this crazy fucking thing. And then, especially when you meet, like, somebody that you really look up to and they're actually, like, still cool. That's how I felt like with E40. When I met E40, I was like, man, please don't be a fucking dickhead. And he was like, E40 was exactly what you want E40 to be. I feel like Vinny Paz was the same way.
Yeah, Vinny is cool,
Thankfully.
cool motherfucker. And then after that night, I think maybe a month later, I got a message from C Lance. And he was like, yo, man, I make beats for Vinny and everybody. He was like, Vinny showed me your shit, G-Mo. Here's a folder of beats.
Yeah.
And that felt cool as hell. I'm like, that nigga Vinny out here showing people my music? That's fucking dope. You know what I mean?
And I feel like also that situations like that are really what determines, like, not star power, but just how dope of an artist you are. Is like, I always think about things like that. Like, Vinny Paz could have reached out to any lyricist in the Bay or anybody out there, but there's a certain energy where it's like G-Mo got that. And I think back to situations like that, like, how do those dots connect? It's such a tight thing. And that's where it's like, really where you said in the beginning, like in the interviews, like hard work, consistency, certain things like that put a certain energy out there that makes things happen. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I mean, that was definitely like a highlight for me too.
Fucking amazing. And he hit me up like, yo, G, I got a track for you. Pick one of these beats. And that's when I made Innermost Hate. And that was super cool because I remember writing a verse and writing the hook. And then I messaged him like, yo, man, I got a verse and a hook. Like, and he was like, yo, put a second verse on that motherfucker. I'm gonna let you quarterback this one, G. Put a second verse on that shit. And we made that song. And when you go listen to Carry On Tradition, I'm the only feature on there that he let me get the hook and 2 verses on that motherfucker, bro. And it's like highly streamed, highly viewed. It's like one of the top songs from that project. Like that shit meant everything, bro. Like that was the coolest shit of all time. Like after that happened, I was like, nigga, I could die happy. Like it's over. Like it's over.
Well, and I also feel like when you get certain accolades, it's always important. Like you said about being successful, is like, don't feel successful, but also taking a second to like really look at that situation and be like, what would younger G-Mo say? Like me and you in the fucking, at my grandma's house, listening to Vinny Paz, Jedi Mind Tricks. And we have a bird flying and say, one day you're going to have a song with Vinny Paz. Me and you would have been like, what? The fuck are you talking? No, shut the fuck up. Like,
for real.
Because the world is so huge. But I think that's where, like, it's important, like, the hard work aspect, of course, but also, like, certain energy in this world just kind of shocks me sometimes. You know what I mean? Of how, like, it's a blessing, I feel like, too. You're blessed with the opportunities as well. Yeah. So that's definitely one of those. So as far as, like, with the Tech N9ne stuff, how did that relationship build? Because I'm very interested in hearing that storyline.
I think, so that was on that same tour. After I dropped that disc, we were on the Psychomania tour, and I think Tech heard the disc, and Tech saw all the drama that it was drumming up. I don't know, but
possibly
they woke me up on the tour bus, and they was like, "Yo, G, Tech contacted us. He want to see you today. He want you to come to lunch."
Damn.
And that's like, nigga, waking up on a tour bunk, being told that was like, what, man? We going. So we went to lunch with him. And he was like, G-Mo, I got your back, man. Like, man, just chill. And you know what I mean? Like, he was just kind of like lacing me up with game and shit and being cool. And, you know, when he first saw me, he was like, come here, you little rapping motherfucker. And he gave me a big ass hug. Like, you a little rapper, nigga, you be spitting. So that's what it was, you know. And he was like, G-Mo, order the biggest steak in this motherfucker, G.
Fire.
So it was really fucking cool. And then when I was shooting the Filth Factory video, Tech was in Michigan. He was doing a Detroit show. And I wanted him to be in the Filth Factory video. I wanted him to come to the factory where the conveyor belt was, and I was just gonna hand him a box and send him on his way as a cameo. But he was busy. He was on tour.
Right.
So he wasn't able to make it. But he hit up like, yo, come to the show, nigga. Let's kick it after the show. So me and Crowder kicking it with Tech at the bar. We drinking and shit.
Do you get nervous in a situation like that, or are you just like, fuck it?
Nah, I'm not a starstruck type dude. I'm like very just cool and shit. Especially and then Crowder really was cool to be there too, because Crowder is very charismatic and shit. And it was cool, man. Tech asked me why I kicked the little homie in the face. You know what I mean? We was sitting there just chopping it up, and he was like, G, put my number in your phone, bro. He gave me his phone number. Like, yo, hit me, G. And he's like, I only give my number to real niggas. So I'm like, for sure. So I took his number and I never used it until I really needed it when I left M&E. And I was like, man, I'm making this album. I called like, Tech, nigga, I need an airstrike right now, my nigga. I'm putting out my independent joint. I need an airstrike, nigga. Yeah. Look, I got $1,000. I ain't a rich nigga. I'm broke, nigga. I'm broke. But I got $1,000 for you. He's like, nah, nigga, Tech N9ne don't take no money from G-Mo, nigga. I got you. And he did that shit. Did the verse and everything. I'm like, yo, Tech, if we fly out to Kansas City, will you be in the video? Bruh, done deal, G. So we went, we had a food fight. Nobody was with us, you know what I mean? That was pivotal, bro.
That's so crazy though, like as far as that goes, because that is like a good showing of like Tech N9ne's character as far as like, oh, well, I got this for you. He's like, fuck that. That's crazy though. Straight up. And then that whole video shoot, we were running around with Tech N9ne all day, and like it is crazy too to see somebody like Tech N9ne in their element as far as being in Kansas City, because like he was just getting the red carpet rolled out for him everywhere you go. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, mamas, he had his whole family with him, bro. The unk, all of them niggas. My nigga, what's that nigga's name? Diggs. Shout out to Diggs, man. Woo, that was man.
Yeah, and just to like see that happening is another one of those instances where I said like just the energy following is like crazy. This is just like those opportunities also only come every now and again. You know what I mean? To like say that. So I'm sure that felt good, and like to see that happen was tight for me too. Yeah. Yeah, pretty insane though. Let me ask you this: as far as like, do you enjoy this is off topic, but do you enjoy the new era, like the importance of social media in the music game these days? Do you like the aspect of like people being able to reach out to you whenever and being able to see things in real time all the time, or how do you feel about that?
I don't have a problem with it. I just think I don't have a problem with it because that's how we came up, right? Like that's our generation. Like that's how we came up, you know? Like we wasn't active in music when it was all magazine based. Like we was reading the magazine.
Facts.
But once we start putting our music out, it started turning to the social media.
Yep.
So I don't have a problem with it. The only thing I do have a problem with is how people make it hard, because a lot of these motherfuckers is buying bots and like fake views and just fake shit, and it makes you feel insecure, bro. Like everything I do is so organic, man. Yeah. And I've been doing this shit for so long, and all these countless cosigns and all of this crazy shit that I've done, but I've never once inflated a number. You know what I mean? Like I feel good that my post got 350 likes from 350 real motherfuckers, but it's kind of hard to keep your sanity when you're scrolling and this rapper has 30,000 likes and that rapper has 50,000 likes in the first 4 minutes, but he only has 6 comments. It's fucking fake.
Yeah.
And it makes it hard for real niggas, bro, because it's like, I don't know what it is yet, bro, but it's like there's some kind of like well-known method that these niggas is all using. Like, you know what I mean? They all use it. I don't know what it is, but nigga got 100,000 followers on Instagram, but ain't got no YouTube views.
Yeah.
And then, you know, he posts his fucking Spotify wrap up. The nigga done got 50 million streams, but his fucking YouTube video is stuck at 800 views. And I'm just like seeing this shit so much, and it's like, it almost feels like you're the only nigga in the league that's not using steroids. Like everybody else is on steroids and you're not.
That's big.
You know, so that's what I hate about the social media shit right now is the artificialness, bro. And like I don't see no fans calling these niggas out. Like y'all just because it's the psychology of it. If I look big, if I look popular, people are gonna want to fuck with me. You know what I mean? And it works. Like this nigga looks popular, so y'all are more likely to fuck with his shit.
Yep.
It works. Sometimes it turns into reality. Like Travis Scott. I seen his manager come out like, yo, since Travis Scott is a piece of shit, I'm gonna go ahead and tell y'all this.
I remember that.
Yeah, he talks about how he used to work for a fucking software company.
Yep.
And then he started managing Travis Scott. They inflated Travis Scott's SoundCloud streams by millions. Artificial bots. This nigga SoundCloud got artificial millions. And then labels start knocking on his door. Now Travis Scott is like the biggest nigga in the world and he has a McDonald's fucking meal. It's like, wow, bro, like you can really fake it to make it. And I'm just too real for it. So
yeah, and I feel like it is a world of like that where you feel like the inflation of views and likes and all that stuff does make it a weird standard as far as that goes. But I think also to be long lasting in this game, you have to build it organically anyways.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that's something that you do very good with. It's like building your catalog, building a strong fan base. Because the fake fan base isn't always going to be there. You know what I'm saying? And
you look cool on Instagram, but your bank account ain't shit.
Yeah.
Because you paying for them bots.
Yep.
You look good.
Yep.
But do you feel good?
And what's your return on investment?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I was just curious how you felt about that. As far as like the underground goes and you being an artist that is, you know, technically like underground in a sense, even though, you know, shout out to you, Billboard number 4 on the billboards and all this good stuff. How do you feel being an underground artist and like what holds back a lot of underground artists from making it mainstream? Do you feel like there's a lot of like hardships in that?
I think it's all mental.
Okay.
Right? Like, I think like you're not counting your blessings, right? And I realized quite recently that where I'm at right now is where I actually want to be, right? Because I'm kind of a recluse. I've become a little recluse. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've become a little recluse, and I like the fact that I'm able to stay home, you know what I mean? And make my music at the house, shoot my videos, and just chill. Now, if I was a mega star, I'd be out all the time. And I don't think I really want to be.
A lot of those people are burnt out.
Mm-hmm.
You meet those type of people in person and you're just like, you don't get a fucking second alone, do you? Yeah.
Like, I don't think I'm ready for that. I don't think I'm ready to be like some mega star. Like, I was thinking like, damn, like I'm right where I'm supposed to be. Like, this is where the Lord want me to be. And in my inner hearts, this is where I want to be. You know what I mean?
Did young G-Mo want to be mainstream?
Ultimately, bro, I do want to be respected like Jay-Z and them. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ultimately, I do want to be put in the conversation. Like when they fucking did the fucking 50 years of hip hop and you see all them names on the fucking screen, I do want my name to be there.
That'll be you.
You know what I mean? I do want that. I seen Tech N9ne name up there. You know what I mean? Like I do want to be there. I do want to be mentioned. I don't want to be forgotten. So there is like a level that I am striving for, but I count my blessings. Like I'm fucking super blessed. Like, okay, here's a good thing. You might look at somebody like, I wish I was him. But there's also somebody looking at you like, I wish I was him. And then it just goes down and down. It's like a fucking chain.
Speaking about it again, me and you in that room listening to the Jedi Mind Tricks, how appreciative we would have been to just know one day we're going to have a song. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
just count your blessings.
I think that's very important, though, the chain of command in that sense, too. Like, there's always going to be one person that wants to be like that. But I also feel like what you're saying is very important, too, because I think people think about being a mainstream artist all the time. At the end of the day, bro, you know how fucking hard that is?
For real.
And how
fake it is. It's smoke and mirrors, for sure.
Did you see Kanye West the other day with the TMZ reporter?
Yeah.
And him walking down the street, snatching the phone out of her hand?
Loved it.
I feel like that amount of celebrity is scary. You can't even walk down the street without some random person fucking walking up on you with a phone. How do you know that's TMZ? How do you know it's not a fucking stalker?
This the beauty of it.
Yeah.
Shout out to the juggalos.
Nah.
Because they got me ready for that. You know what I'm saying? They got me like the shit that I went through where they just kept fucking with me and shit. It's like I could deal with anything now. Like that's how I feel. I wish a nigga from TMZ would walk up on me. I know what to do and what not to do now. You know what I mean? So like I said, like God puts you where you need to be, bro.
Yep.
You know what I mean? As long as you realize it. You know what I mean? So when it comes to that mainstream TMZ niggas running up on you, bro, like, man, let's say, bro, in 2015, I went mainstream. I wasn't emotionally intelligent for that shit.
Hell no.
You see what I'm saying? So like every step of the way, I appreciate the journey, bro, because it's not about the destination. It's about the journey of it, bro.
Yeah. Yep. And I think just to keep going back onto that thing where you said just about the uncomfortableness though, too, is like just doing, like being in a certain point. I mean, you know, if you were like a mainstream artist, it's one thing, but it's like that feeling, like, I don't think I want to be that uncomfortable. You know what I mean? Like people in your face
it's mental,
all fucking
but
day.
it's mental though.
Yeah.
It's mental. Like you don't have to react. Like, but it depends on who you are, like how much training you have, how, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's true.
That it's all like mental, bro. So I've been on a positive thinking challenge since like October of last year. Fuck that. It was October of 2022.
Yeah.
Positive thinking, just like it's a 30-day challenge where you try to keep positive thoughts. You just try to think positive. When bad things happen, you try to react positive. And when you fuck up, you have a negative thought or whatever, you got to restart the 30 days.
Damn.
I haven't finished the challenge, nigga. It's almost about to be 2 years this October. But just the fact that I'm doing the challenge,
right,
it's keeping me better, bro. It's making me react to things better. It's just making me better, bro. Like, y'all read some books, man. Make sure y'all read some books, man. Like,
that's really important. But I also, I've seen the growth of you too. As far as like the G-Mo from back in the day and being able to take things into consideration, even like just dealing with like haters online or anything like that. So I think I definitely commend you on that aspect.
Appreciate it.
So you're back on MNE.
Yeah.
And you're getting ready to drop new projects. What are the plans for the future?
Man, I just dropped 8-Bit Filth 2, and now I'm finna drop Filth City. I got Huckleberry Filth is the main album that everybody is anticipating, and I just wrote an entire EP with Sealance. So I literally got 3 projects in a clip. My New Year's resolution has been to write a verse every day, just a 16 every day. And I've been doing that. Like, I just been on my job, like writing my ass off. So y'all look out for that Filth City. That's dropping first, Huckleberry Filth. I haven't come up with a name for the Sealance EP. It might be Filth Club, you know what I mean? Kind of like Fight Club. So I'm on fire right now, to be real with you.
Hey, Brad Filth. Like it. One last question is, what would the present day G-Mo Skee tell the younger G-Mo Skee, some advice wise?
Leave that bitch. My ex-girlfriend. She like, you know what I mean? Like when I was coming of age, I spent too much time with this girl. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I wouldn't take nothing back, but I think about that a lot of times. Like, there was a lot of things I skipped up on because I was in a relationship all throughout high school. There was a lot of shit, like joining the speech and debate team and all of that. Like, my bitch just wanted too much of my time, and I gave it to her. You know
Having
what I mean?
more time for yourself. Take more time for yourself.
Yeah, and then it was a dead end, you know? But at the end of that, she left me for a nigga.
Damn.
So all that time I wasted, you know what I mean? Like, if I was to go back and tell my younger self, I would have been like, leave that bitch, because I had all type of bitches on my dick. Like, I had hella hoes, like, and I held back. Like, I'm talking about bad bitches. Bad, bro. I had a bunch of them. I had a whole stable that just wanted me, bro, but I was locked up in a relationship. It was a lot I missed out on fucking with her, bro. Like, real talk. But that's just the first thing off the top of the head.
I feel it. It's all good. Well, shit, G-Mo, I definitely appreciate you. Right on, brother. You know what it is with us. But
yes, sir.
I'm sure everybody is going to get a lot out of this interview, too. And keep doing what you're doing. Let's fucking keep building. Makes you happy. G-Mo Skee.
Filth, baby. Noble Cinema.